One, and we're live. GM.
Yo, GM.
GM. We got Andy back.
We got
Andy was
Andy,
distracted last time, so we're back.
and
Dude,
he brought a
last time
little
I was
guest,
here, my goodness, I was on the
Batman
boat
and
in
Robin.
Amsterdam.
Batman and Robin, I love it. Andy, what's going on? For people that don't know you and Rob, go ahead and give a little intro, and then we'll just keep it quick and easy this time around. I think 30 minutes or so.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Good to be back. Um, yeah, I'm Andy. Just been doing a lot of education work in crypto for last 4 or 5 years. We have a education company called the Rolllup. And yeah, I'm here with Robby, who I met in university, although he's just going to be hanging out in the background today. But he is my business partner and my co-founder, and yeah, we host a pod, and we're pretty bullish on Ethereum rollups and rollup centric roadmap and the modular ecosystem, DeFi, cool apps, and yeah, a lot of interesting things happening. Yesterday was the presidential debate. Did you guys watch that?
I watched 9 minutes of it until she said quantum computing and AI, and then I was like, that's it for me. I turned it off. She doesn't even know what quantum computing is, but it seemed like she won. I mean, I don't vote, so it doesn't matter to me. But what do you think, Andy? It seemed like she won.
Yeah, I thought Trump was outmatched, which is surprising.
Mm. Did you have any little
But
side bets going on? Did you do a little gambling on if they shook hands or if she said modular finance or anything?
Yeah,
I
where are you on the? Are you taking part in all the poly market activity? Because I was telling Marty this morning that it seems like the degens have transferred from the trenches to poly market.
Dude, I mean, if you go to Polymarket's website, it just looks like a casino, man. It's dopamine to the max. It's like flashing colors, like it's absurd. I didn't participate in yesterday's shenanigans, but I have been messing around with like some of the interest rate stuff and some like super long far out stuff like Super Bowl champions and I don't know, some random stuff. Honestly, it's pretty
Jesus, you
cool.
sound old now, Andy.
Dude,
The
I
market's
mean,
aging you.
are you guys? I am a boomer now. I mean, the amount of on-chain transactions that I'm doing compared to 2020 is like really, really sad.
Me and
Less
DK talk
swaps.
about that a lot. Like, it's just like it's not that there aren't things that are coming out. It's that there's nothing like exciting to play with. I've always talked about how like yield farming and the different eras that had these kind of novel little projects or Ponzi's that we like to play with. They were all different types of money games, and they were all fun and engaging, right? Like whether they were PvP or they were, a strategy like puzzle, whatever it was, there was some confusion involved, which like gave some excitement to whether or not you were figuring it out or whether or not you were first, or like whatever it was. And now that's just not the case. Now it's just like, here's some shitcoin with a new picture, trade it. Or here's something that's like so advanced that retail isn't going to understand. And the only people excited about it are like, funds, VCs, and developers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been spending my time is in the funds VC developer camp, and that is where the exciting stuff is happening. But you got to be into it because it's not really tangible, you know? It's not like, oh, go and deploy today. It's like, oh, okay, get excited about this idea and then support the project for a long time, and then maybe in 3 years it's something that actually figures out how to accrue value, which is definitely a different feedback loop than the trenches.
Yeah, I guess like what kind of stuff
For
are you
sure.
seeing now and where are you seeing money flow? You guys do both Andy and Cozy both do a bunch of VC stuff. I've never done a seed deal, so I'm the virgin here. So what kind of stuff are people looking out, 1, 2, 4 years out? What's the next cycle gonna look like?
I think um, I think the AI and the deep in stuff is particularly interesting right now. for next year. I think that we'll see a pretty good AI bubble. So, but actually, like unironically, what's most exciting to me right now in the liquid markets is this DeFi resurgence. If you look at the charts of Aave and of Uni a little bit less so. But some of these like DeFi coins, they look like they've gone through Degen Spartan's prophecy of the 36-month DeFi bear market. And I mean, Aave to me looks great. So I'm shilling my bags here, but I've been buying Aave and some Uni because I don't know, it just feels what's right to me in this current moment of time, going back to 2020.
Is it Av or Avi, whatever, or is like the only one that's still around, that never had any like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, Cozy, but never had any like, founders selling tokens to buy a $50 million house in Australia or taking loans on the platform. They seem like the OG platform that stuck around. The thing that's interesting to me is that the Ghoul, the GHO token, never really took off. Their stable coin is still like 20-30 million less market cap last time I checked.
Yeah.
GHO.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there have been some things with Aave in the past, but they've always handled it very professionally. And they've stood the test of time. Like Aave was ETHLend. They went through their token transition, or whatever you want to refer to it as, when they upgraded to Aave. And they've been kind of the cornerstone for lending and lending markets since then. It was really them and Maker, back in the beginning, and they kind of stole all the thunder from like the only thing that was available at the time, which was the CDPs through Maker.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting to me. I think like I don't know. I just want to see some of those OG DeFi stuff come back. I was talking to Sam from Frax, and he's like, dude, the Ethereum Foundation is just so anti-DeFi, and like this entire space has been built on DeFi, and now they won't even say the word DeFi. And I think Vitalik was getting into some stuff on Twitter about it, but yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I want to see the resurgence of the DeFi tokens.
You see, I didn't take Vitalik's messages about like DeFi, quote unquote, in a negative light. I took it as like he's seeing what's happening right now. It's kind of like what the crypto boomers have been saying, that like we need to return to like the core DeFi primitive type stuff, like having a bunch of shit that's just like, here's a tool to create endless piles of shit. Like that's not productive for that's not productive for the space. So like continuing to call that DeFi because it's decentralized finance, and championing, fucking dog with clown nose across the world, like that isn't going to progress us anywhere. That actually is that moves us backwards, right? Because then it ignites and re-supports this viewpoint that like all crypto is a bunch of scams. And like he gave some examples, I think he mentioned like Uniswap and some other things of like the good DeFi, right? Like the things that should still exist. And I don't necessarily, I disagree, because I think like it's open source finance, right? Like anything that you can think of existing will exist. And I don't think it's anyone's right to stop that. But at the same time, I do also agree that like all of the other, all of the noise is like a drain. It's not only an attention drain on the things that are important for the industry, but it is a capital drain on capital that could be investing in the things that are important for the industry to actually like exist. When you see a whole token list of shitcoins that are all 8 figures, right, in TVL, and there's hundreds of them, you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, what are we doing here? I think maybe that's why Av is getting the bid, back to just credit markets, right? Borrow and lending markets. And that was like a true DeFi, right? Give wrap Bitcoin, get ETH, give ETH, get stables, whatever, LTV you wanted to have. That was where DeFi started. I think that will continue to carry on. We saw the credit market kind of blow up after FTX. So it's nice to see, well,
yeah, permissionless
now,
lending
right?
is
Genesis and then FTX blow up. So this is like the core of DeFi.
Yeah, I think permissionless lending, borrowing is one of the like you could say like core USPs for like DeFi.
So
And
where we
something
head
that is
out and
better,
like what's better? What else?
whether or not it's as
DeFi?
capital efficient, like whether or not it's as capital efficient as TradFi, I don't think matters because it is inherently better that you're not participating in a fractional reserve system.
It's not just that, it's also faster on chain, right? Like if you wanted to get a loan from the bank, you have to go to your loan officer, you have to provide, tax documents, receipts, approval
friction
for a few
is
days.
erased.
Yeah, friction is insane. But DeFi brings that frictionless system, but I found it hard to pay like, sometimes 14-15% for USDC. I'm like, this is not cool. It hurts my bottom line if I need it. And unless it's on a short term, right, to fill some, I don't know, some swap or something that I needed or some arbitrage that we needed. But if it's anything like over 10%, I just don't find it useful. I think now it's super, super low, right? Like 1 to 3%, or it was the other day, last time I looked. So we've reset that for sure. Yeah. You can also notice, I don't know if anybody on exchanges are looking like at margin borrows and people using margin to long or short. You can see the fucking apes. You can see where, major liquidation levels are based on people's margin borrow. So that's kind of some insight if you're on a SEX that you can look at their margin borrowing rates when they start to fluctuate heavy.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is like I and Robby have had like an Aave position open for just so long. It's like it just feels I don't know. It just feels like the level of brand that they've built has been super quality. So anyway, that's
some
Aave.
merch, dude. Need some Aave merch.
Yeah, Mark, we need the Aave Chan merch. You need to. I will dox my address to you to get some Aave Chan merch.
I got a mailbox, but it still works. What other stuff are you bullish on DeFi, Andy? What's happening in the VC space? Where else are you seeing besides AI? Like I don't know, some projects you've invested in that you wanted to share a little bit, or some big rounds that have closed?
Yeah, what do you mean by AI though? Like in general, like do you mean like AI specific blockchains, like stuff like Ritual, or more like AI tooling? Like where are you seeing like the AI and DeFi kind of crossover? Because we saw it for a few months on, I think mainly on Arbitrum. A lot of them were launching. There were a lot of like open networks for indexing or collecting types of data, and image generate, like all sorts of shit was popping up, and we were having a field day mining those. But outside of like what Tau and Ritual, like I'm not sure which ones are still around.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different projects in the Eigenlayer AVS ecosystem working on like AI inferencing, working on better models, making fine tuning models, bringing AI agents into crypto. So you actually you can deploy an agent and they can interact on chain with you and other agents. That's pretty cool. That's kind of interesting. I don't really know where that's going to go, but it's definitely interesting. Seeing some other pretty cool ideas around AI liquidity management and stuff like that. I don't know. Overall, it's still a lot of kind of a facade in a way, I think, but I think it's super. I think the agents thing is pretty cool because you think about it, these agents, they can't interact with the traditional financial system because they need to operate with credit cards and Stripe and all these different things, and they can't do that. But they can operate with on-chain assets, and they can be deployed on chain because, well, you just need a wallet and like some sort of like APIs and parameters to be able to move assets, like
Yeah, you're
be able to
just
like
giving
press
it
sign.
approval to like call
Yeah,
certain functions and stuff. And
exactly. So like that is like that's like the one of the really interesting things that we're seeing, is like teams working on that and like bringing agents. Basically, like imagine if you had like ChatGPT, but you could also be like, yo, ChatGPT, like go buy, yo, Annie just said Aave's bullish. And you just text your AI agent that has control over your wallet somehow or some sort of permission and be like, yo, go buy Aave now and set a limit order sell 10% higher on chain.
someone built this actually, like exactly what you're saying, but it's for your computer. Maybe it's in Telegram, but I feel like he just has it on his terminal, and you can like do it in VS Code, obviously. But he showed an example of him just typing like buy 10 Sol or something like that, and it was able to do it. I gotta find who it was. It's one of the people I follow on Twitter, but they built something very similar to that.
I wonder if you can
Yeah,
go rebalance, some specific pools, either GNX pools or Uniswap pools, whatever,
You
and
100%
tell it,
can. Yeah.
and tell it like, oh, when balance gets to X, refill or swap from here, all at
100%.
certain range orders. Yeah, that would be
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. Or like DLMMing. That's what Ace has been doing on Soylana, on
Yeah,
Meteora.
Yeah.
Go rebalance some shitcoin pools with X at Y and Z. That would be an interesting way for
yeah. And
retail
then
to get
even
more
better though,
involved.
like even better, imagine things like where you could tell it to go find the best opportunities based on your risk parameters and your desire to work with these chains, these types of smart contracts, these types of audits that these smart contracts have had, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can really start to get really crazy with it. So that stuff's pretty cool. And then like you can have your AI agent speak to another AI agent or interact with one and do commerce without you being there. But you can kind of like approve a set of constraints. So that's cool. This also comes down to this idea of intents, which is happening, which is like this. You know, I
Yep.
intend to change my
I think
position
we
on
talked about this like a year
DOM.
ago.
Yeah, and so this is like how the
I was
intents.
going off
There's like
about him
yeah, this like intersection of intents and AI is pretty cool. I think. Um, so that's
of
another thing.
RFQV2s.
Yep. And then base rollups are pretty freaking cool right now as well, where instead of using a centralized sequencer like Arbitrum does or like other chains, they actually use Ethereum L1 to sequence the transactions, and there's a lot of composability benefits with the L1 as well as like a lot of like liveness guarantees that are getting. And right now there's this big narrative that like L2s are like parasitic to L1. So base rollups coming out from Puffer, from Spire Labs, the one that Taika was working on, and some of the guys that are working on like Sorella and some of these other base rollup stacks are super interesting. Rise
Are you
Chain,
mega aligned?
I am mega aligned, but they're not doing a base rollup. What I'm even more bullish on is this chain called Rise Chain, which is basically takes all of the TPS and stats of Mega ETH, but as a base rollup, so it has inherently more decentralization properties and better composability with L1, and isn't a centralized sequencer, does base sequencing. So yeah, Rise Chain is definitely some alpha. They're gonna come out of stealth pretty soon. They got a pretty wild cap table. Cozy, I don't know what you're doing, but I could probably put you in touch with those guys. Um, and that's pretty cool. And then I just think that there's like all of like the Modular stuff that we've been pushing has been honestly predicated on Tia's price action, which is pretty bad right now. But I think a lot of like altcoins are down pretty bad. But the developments that I'm seeing is like the next 3 to 6 months in the modular space are looking really good. And simultaneously, and what I mean by that is like there's a lot of these like different execution environment based rollups launching, eigen layers coming online with like eigen DA and like their suite of AVSs, and a ton of these different shared sequencing networks are coming online. Things like Anisha and Barrett Chain are coming online. So like, that stuff's gonna be pretty fun to watch. And then more than anything, what I was like most important, I think, is like I'm pretty excited about the UX improvements that are coming on chain. So we've been focusing a lot on like chain abstraction, and there's a lot of teams that are shipping these wallets that allow you to like interact directly from like a MetaMask or Robby like experience across a ton of assets, a ton of different L2s, L1s without needing to bridge and all feeling like it's the same thing, same kind of chain. So that to me is just like a massive breakthrough. Struggling to see how like the value will like accrue to some of these wallet abstraction providers per se, or how they're gonna get like me to be like, yeah, let me leave Robby to go there. But that's happening, and it's gonna happen in the next 6 months, and so that's exciting to me. Projects over there like Particle, One Balance, Near, Agoric, Arc. There's a ton over there. But yeah, all those different sectors are what I'm paying attention to mostly. And then I mentioned like Deepin. I haven't really done too much there, but people are saying it's pretty hype. So yeah.
Well, Cozy, what do you think about this account abstraction thing? And basically, the end user doesn't know where or which chain they're using, and I guess it doesn't matter. They just want execution, speed, and cost, right? Or no cost at that point, right? Where do you seeing that kind of?
It's coming to Premia. It's coming to Premia and Archetype, baby. You know, there's already the account abstraction architecture there. You know, you can create an account without a wallet with any social account, and then we have smart accounts enabled that are deployed through Safe. That's how we're able to bundle transactions and do things like package the put or call options with swaps. That's how we're doing the gasless transactions, and how we'll continue to kind of add these more complex bundled features for users to do. And then on the chain abstraction side, that's where we're going next, and kind of the next feature set that'll come, where it doesn't matter what chain you're on, or it doesn't matter what assets you have on different chains. You'll be able to look at your set of your assets across all of the chains as kind of a global portfolio, and then you can do things like, rather than have to look at your balances as $1,000 on ARB, $3,000 on OP, and $1,000 on BNB, you can look at it as though you have a cumulative of your $5,000 or your $4,000, and you can trade as if you have all of that together. And I think that's where the space needs to go. I say things all the time internally with the parliament, with like some of our team members, about certain features that a lot of apps don't have. Like I saw Schizophrenic Lucas, one time said, like, it's 2024 and I don't understand why some dexes still don't have charts, or why a new dex would launch without a chart. And that's how I feel about a lot of things in 2024. And one of them is like, we have all this tech. Why should a new user who's coming on have to think about what RPC they need to go and grab and input into a wallet to then go and trade on some app? Like, to them, they should just have to think, I want to go to this site and I want to use their service, right? Like all of the extra shit should be abstracted away, and moving into this kind of new world, or this next level where this is more integrated. I think that it's just gonna make the UX like continue to be more smooth, and allow users to do more things without having to get scammed.
But how do you think about like this email login? I'm not sure I'm sold on this retail-y email login thing yet.
No, I mean that is like, I think people get confused with account abstraction and think that like that is like account abstraction, and like that's just social logins. That's just like a part of it. The ability to generate seeds from some social account. But that in itself is not account abstraction. I'm not a huge fan of using social accounts for stuff, or at least for like holding large amounts of money. I think all large holdings you should keep offline or keep in a hardware wallet. But they are great for using as hot wallets. Like in the current implementation, a lot of them can be protected with like passkey, right? So you're protecting your keys with your biometrics, either your face or your fingerprint, and you're signing all your transactions with your face or your fingerprint. So in a sense, it's probably more secure than a lot of other web wallets doing something like that. But in general, like I'm still kind of allergic to the idea of like using that as like a main wallet or something. Which is why I like the fact that a lot of the account abstraction stuff, it allows you to use an EOA that's not this social login to be the owner wallet. And like we do that on Archetype too. If you don't want to use your Google, your Twitter, GitHub, or whatever, you can use your Grid Plus or use your Ledger. You don't have to have a social account to create a smart account and use all its features.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, all these things are interesting, right? For like the longer term UX and growth of the space, but I guess like I don't know, more actionable stuff. I just feel like yeah, I think the altcoin sentiment of the market's about as bad as it could be.
Yeah, shitters
I mean,
are downright bad right now.
So I'm a buyer of Aave, of Uni, of some other DeFi coins, some of these VC coins that people are just writing off as being done. Buyer of ETH, and really just like not selling. Think that this was just like we basically had the first big move up over the last 6-7 months. The last 4 months have been like kind of the move back down. And you look at like some charts like Chainlink and charts like some of these Aaves and Unis and then you have like the newer ones. It looks like we're at a point in the market where it's either we're getting a higher low here and we're going to continue a trend, or we got some problems on our shoulders. So thinking that hopefully the next couple months in align with elections and rate cuts and things. I think generally I just wouldn't be bearish here.
So gun to the head, price prediction, end of the year.
For Bitcoin?
Yeah, we'll do major.
For Bitcoin, like for Bitcoin, like 80K,
Okay.
or close to there, maybe by January-ish. I think December, January are gonna be real good. It's just like maybe like 75, 80. ETH like somewhere around like 4.5. And then Sol,
0.
yeah,
No, I'm
somewhere
just kidding.
around like 220.
Solana 0.
So I'm pretty bullish
One-
actually.
180.
Yeah, 180-ish, 200, 220 maybe.
I don't want to give Z as 200.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna happen.
Yeah, not yet.
But I think I think December and January are gonna do well. We're talking a lot to altcoin shirt, but he thinks the same as well.
Leandro, let's go.
I haven't seen him in a while on the timeline. Is he still active?
Yeah.
My timeline's been so weird lately, dude. It's been, since I'm in Germany full time now, it's been showing me some very odd, just like nonsense, right? Where I'm just like, oh man, like I need to get back on the.
You got to
into the
retrain that
shitters game.
algo.
Yeah, I got to
For real.
retrain the algo. Got to redo my search. Yeah, like Allcoin Sherpa, Allcoin Psycho, like McKenna, all those guys, just naming off names here that I haven't seen in a while. Kaleo, none of those guys I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. So
maybe it was Germany. Could have been just the German,
yeah, I think it's just
German internet. But
So
Cozy,
funny.
price predictions, and then we'll wrap it up. I know Andy had 30 minutes left today.
End of year?
December's.
Oh man. Let's see. I'm gonna say
70 to 80. If we're
Yeah,
going
I'm
up,
kind
70
of
to
with
80.
Andy.
If
I
not,
think
we're going to
70
40.
to 80. I think 70 to 80, and we're probably over 4 with Boomer Russian money coin.
Yeah.
Over 4?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are
It's hard
too
to see
hopeful, I
now.
think.
Yeah, it's hard to see
zoom
now.
out.
I read Marty's newsletter, and I'm just zooming out, trying not to let the banker steal my vitamin butane.
Yeah. Don't put it into the ETF. No staking. Makes no sense.
Definitely not.
Alrighty, Andy. Thanks, Cozy. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
We
Thank
got
you.
a founder. We got a founder coming up that does Rolllup as a service. I'm not going to say the company name yet, but we're going to builders next show.
Hell yeah.
Andy will be tuned in.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, always fun, Andy. Robby, catch you guys later.
Thanks,
Later,
Cozy.
boys.
Thanks, Marty. Peace.